Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition, a special one-on-one interview on the Ukatsu Podcast with our special guest this time around in his one-on-one, Mr. Lath, aka I said Mr. It's Lath, aka Mr. Chicken. Mr. Chicken, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Joe. How are you?
Not too bad. We've already recorded our Ukatsu video podcast earlier in the day. That's why you see the setup here.
Yeah.
We're actually going to record a esports podcast in less than an hour from now. But before that, I wanted specifically to talk to you, Mr. Chicken Lath, because you've got a special topic you wanted to bring up today.
Yes. I wanted to talk about how it is as a kid online.
How it is as a kid online. Specifically, is there any specifics that is it in the gaming community? Is it just in general?
In general, basically.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Well, I want to know, what is it like, Mr. Lath?
Well, when you when you go into a game, you kind of just expect to have a fun time, but, when I talk in a game, it sounds like really squeaky, and people...
Well, you're a kid, right?
Yeah, I know, and people
you know that.
still make fun of my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but it's something you can't really help.
Yeah. And sometimes I just really hate having a squeaky voice because of that.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, it'll get deeper.
I know.
I'll say first and foremost, when I was playing video games growing up, this was like when the start of voice comms was. This is when people had TeamSpeak servers, Ventrilo servers, and when I was super young, I didn't want to speak either.
Yeah.
When I was playing competitive Call of Duty, when I was playing World of Warcraft, I thought my voice was too high, or I wasn't confident in my own voice, so I didn't speak very. I was a really good typer. That's how I learned how to type so fast, because I'd respond to messages so quickly.
Yeah, that's probably most likely me if I don't want to talk. But recently, I've actually gone into a community that doesn't care about my voice.
Nice.
And that's what I love.
Yeah. So what community did you enter before when you were
Well, I was...
where things were hostile?
Well, I used to play the occasional popular games like Call of Duty or not Hardline, Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some pretty toxicity on there.
Yeah.
From some people, and if you ever been on there, you'd know.
Yeah, and there's a term for it now, right?
Yeah, Squeakers.
Squeakers, quote unquote. And where do you think that started from? Squeakers.
Probably online. Somebody just came up with it, and then everybody was like, "Oh, hey, that's a great word. Let's just use that for people that have squeaky voices."
How does it make you feel, man?
I mean,
people call you a squeaker.
It's pretty annoying.
Pretty annoying. Yeah.
Usually, what I tell them is, "You were a squeaker at one point," so.
That is very true. Nobody started out. I didn't start with this voice, man.
No,
I tell you what. People say, "Oh, I like your voice now, Joe." It's like, it wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
I definitely had a higher pitched voice, but so we already talked about the pitch of the voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Why do you think people don't like squeakers beyond the voice? What is the preconception of the misconception?
I think they just think that they're more responsible than us. They're more cooler than us or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we play the game the same way.
Yeah.
We talk the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I can get if some people start if kids just start screaming into the mic. You don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I can understand.
You don't want to deal with
from that
anyone
point
screaming into a mic.
Yeah, no. But if it's just them trying to talk, I don't see why you can't just have a normal conversation. But there are some people like that that don't mind people that have a squeaky voice.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's more common for people to kind of defend you? Have you ever had people defend you in a chat room or anything like that?
No, only once, and that was in a CS:GO game.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of it's easier just to let the bullying happen.
Yeah.
Right, and just kind of keep your head down.
Yeah, you can't really do anything about it either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can.
Well, I think you can. I think we were playing games with, I don't forget who. There's somebody on Fortnite the other day where we played Phil Squad for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And they said something that was really off-putting, and we're like, well, that's not cool. Oh, it was something specifically about women.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
were like, no, that's completely false. It was Overwatch. Now that I remember, it was
Yeah.
we're playing with Liv.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, it is easier just to say nothing, just to let the moment
Yeah.
pass. But I would suggest for anyone listening to this podcast is to take that opportunity to step up for the people who are being made fun of or are in
Yeah.
a position where they're. How does it make you feel, Lath? Like,
It makes me feel pretty sad. Like, sometimes I want to just, like, collapse on my desk
mhm.
and, like, just sit there and cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I play Siege, Rainbow Six Siege. It's a Tom Clancy game. There is a lot of, well, I've met some pretty toxic people on there, and I've met a girl on there. We're actually friends on there. And whenever we'd go into a game, she would get, like, harassed, and it was really not fun.
Yeah.
They would say some really inappropriate stuff.
Yeah. So it's a lot of minorities
Yeah.
who are made fun of. It's not always that you have a kid on there. It's not always that you have a woman on there. So yeah, it's something that happens a lot in gaming. And so, what do you think what's the solution, man? What do you think?
The least you can do is, let it go. Just
Yeah.
mute them.
Yeah.
Just say you're playing a game with your friends. You're playing a game of Fortnite, because I know that's popular for you guys, and you only have 3 people with you. So say you're out for one filled, and that guy's calling you Squeaker. Best to do is just mute him. There's no point in talking back, because he's just gonna keep annoying you. So
Yeah, I think you're right about the least you can do is just mute them and understand that the internet is a
cruel place.
it is a beautiful
But
and at the
cruel.
same time, yes, cruel and ugly place. It's it's a pretty accurate depiction of our world, right? Like
Yeah.
you and I, we grew up pretty
Yeah.
comfortably, I would say.
Yeah.
We get to talk about this on a podcast. We get to play games together at Ukatsu, but there's some terrible people out there that just do some terrible, rotten things, right?
But the whole community isn't bad. There's some
Yeah.
good people out there.
That's gives you a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll change?
I hope, but you never know. Next thing you know, in the future, we're gonna have VR. People can you can feel being punched in the face or something. So that'll be a next level bullying for
Yeah.
you.
Well, you've played a little bit of VR.
Yeah, I have.
Right?
How
How has that gone? What was it? Rec Room?
Yeah, Rec Room. That community is very nice. There's not that many people that do that. I've met one person on there that does it.
And I think why do you think that is?
I think the community, I think it's how strict they are. And plus, mostly I think people are more understanding, like, in some communities, like, because, the common term, drink bleach, that term. Yeah, I used to hear that a lot as a kid, but, I believe most communities are getting rid of those people, and I believe it's getting better and better.
Yeah, I think moderation, having mods is a pretty cool thing, especially if they're in the right hands. You don't want like a tyrant banning people with their hammers all the time, but I think something about VR, it's more personal.
Yeah.
You're using your hands and your fingers. When you look and interact with somebody else, there's actually they show the height.
Yeah.
Don't they? Like, so when you're playing,
I'm like 4 feet.
Right, but you're looking
4.2.
up at people, and they're looking down at people, so that it becomes so much more real.
Yeah.
You're never gonna see an adult walking around at the mall like just say, Squeaker."
You're never gonna be like, "Oh, Squeaker."
Yeah. It's so much easier to do that behind a computer monitor, Counter-Strike, situation where the only thing that you guys have to compare is your voice and your play, right?
Yeah.
But those are all very valid feelings, man. I'm glad that you're willing to talk about them, because I think that you're not alone.
Yeah, I know
right?
I'm not.
Do you have a lot of friends that have the same problem?
Oh God, yeah, lots of them. I know this friend named Caleb. He's 14. He he's like he used to be. He just like got a deeper voice like a year ago. So
Uh-huh.
he was just through. He finished that phase of being mean
Mhm.
to. I was on a server. It was there's this GTA mod where it's like
Mhm.
you can RP on it and stuff.
Mhm.
There's this guy talking against me, and this admin kicked him for disrespect. So I thank that guy. He was nice.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah, and we're not going to disclose your age to the
Yeah.
public audience. It's safe to say you're still in elementary school.
Yeah.
Like that's safe to say. But how do you think you will? Do you think you'll help with this problem? Do you think you'll try to solve this problem or help in your own smaller way when you grow up?
I mean, when I'm like playing games and I hear like Squeakers getting made fun of and I'm not in it, I will defend them. Yes,
Mhm.
I want to help the community with the Squeakers,
Mhm.
quote unquote Squeakers. But really, we're all the same, and it's just our voice. So
Yeah. Do you think kids kind of play into it now? Because you've seen the YouTube videos. Squeaker does this, this kind of rage Squeaker. Do you think kids like play into that kind of in
well,
a way that's both serving but also in a way just to try to be cool about it?
yeah. Well, some people pay little kids to like be in their video to be like, hey kid, can you like yell at me in a Fortnite game so I can get tons of views?
Mhm.
And
Wow.
yeah, there's been some YouTubers exposed for that, and that's what some of them do, and it's kind of it's kind of rude, really,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're basically trying to say, oh, well, they're not saying it, but like, oh yeah, a bunch of Squeakers do this because they make supposedly they make a different video every time with a different Squeaker, and they say, oh, this kid rage, this kid rage, this kid, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think everybody does that. I think that's fake.
Yeah. It's kind of like those prank videos that are very fake prank videos.
Yeah.
Like, how would this woman react if I drove a nice car type of thing?
Yeah,
but
like-
they all are a part of the company that's shooting it. And,
Hey, I stole this woman's phone and I ran. Yeah, okay, that's real.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So it kind of perpetuates the stereotype, right?
Yeah.
And so you see that kind of video, and suddenly you do think maybe they are all just whiny, screaming
Yeah.
children. But you're saying that that's not true.
I highly doubt it. Maybe a few of them, but I know a lot of people in communities, and I know they don't do that instantly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man.
Yeah.
I think it's important to take a step back and to really think about the words that you're putting out there on the internet, right?
Yeah.
We all understand the context of a joke.
Yeah.
We all understand how our jokes also may be
Offend you. you know?
they may hurt a lot of the feelings of kids who literally cannot do anything. Well, have you put on a voice changer before?
God, yeah.
Yeah.
But it just sounds like a teenager.
Yeah. I'll also, Laith, me personally, I think a lot of the people who do make fun of Squeakers, and I'm not talking about the YouTubers,
Yeah.
but like the kids who do it on CS:GO, the kids who are in game and Rainbow Six, a big part of me feels like those kids, those are also kids.
Yeah.
Like they're 16, right, or 17, and not. I would like to think they're not 20-something-year-olds
Yeah,
or older.
I highly agree with that. If I've met some people, and they're like, "Oh, you're making fun of us and saying, oh, you're a little kid, you don't know anything." Well, you're being the irresponsible one by making fun of us, you know.
Yeah.
We're being the responsible one saying, "Okay, I'm gonna mute you now. Bye," you know. And like, I don't understand. Okay, I get it. If you don't like a squeaky voice, why don't you just mute us? Why do you just like put all this constant hate on us, you know?
Yeah. No, I can see you're getting pretty worked up about it right
Yeah.
now. You're really passionate about this subject, dude. And again, I can't compliment you enough for being the mature one in this situation, for speaking your
Yeah.
mind about it. It's a big problem, man. A lot of people need to know about this. So that's why I think it's best that we get this podcast out, we share it, put it on Reddit. Like, I know a lot of people love to read Reddit.
Ukatsu r/Reddit there, yeah.
We can put it on the gaming one, I think.
True, yeah.
That's, I think, where it deserves to be. We'll put your tags on it as well, so you can get a lot of followings too, just so people can hear your voice, and not just yours, but you representing millions of people. What, man? A lot of people don't understand this, but all the big YouTubers, they're there because of kids.
Yeah, like, imagine if there were kids in this in video game communities, it would be dead.
Yeah.
All gone.
Yeah, Fortnite,
all gone, out the window.
Out the window. You're right. And content creators, they're just using the kids, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, he's got a squeaky voice. Let's pay him to rage on us or something like that. But they need to be good role models, especially if they're celebrities, right?
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, the kids are okay. Recognize that you exist. Your population exists, and I don't think people think about it too much because they always think, oh, they'll just grow up.
Yeah, they'll just grow up. They'll get over it. But see, what I don't get is, okay, I know people that were squeakers and now they're teenagers making fun of squeakers. I don't get that.
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
I'm very confused.
Why do you think that is?
I think they kind of want to get payback, but not on them, on people who never done anything. Just little kids.
You ever look into like secret societies and like clubs and stuff like that?
I have a book club in my house.
Well, it's probably a lot worse than a book. Your book club's pretty wholesome.
Yeah.
But it's tradition, right?
Yeah.
Like people who do a lot of hazing. Do you know what hazing is?
No.
So hazing is, say like I wanted to join your club.
Yeah.
And I'm the senior member of that club.
All right.
Well, we get to do mean things to the incoming class, like the freshmen,
the dweebs, the
newbies, right?
Yeah, the fresh meat.
Yeah, exactly, the fresh meat, exactly. And so they have that chance, and then it all becomes that vicious cycle of, oh, that was traumatizing, but now I'm older, I get to do that to the younger,
I get to deal with the fresh meat now.
So maybe you're right. Maybe it is that feeling, and I think that's a very insightful comment on where that not only starts but where it goes after.
I have a feeling one person is going to see this podcast. They're going to be like, on their keyboard. Oh my. Hey, that's not true. Okay, we just do it because they're annoying. I'm like, exactly my point.
Yeah, I think this is it's a controversial subject, maybe.
Yeah.
But also, if you have a sliver of goodness in you, it's not very difficult to see the problem, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to see the problem.
And hopefully, I get that let's talk about the whole point of it.
Oh, yeah.
Which, what I'm thinking is, I don't want to get made fun of, and also, this is a source of comedy. For me, personally, the comedy, I understand why they think it's funny.
Yeah.
But I don't personally find it funny. It's not very creative.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I would rather hear a bunch of people being like, hey, and like CSGO lobbies, I would rather hear, hey Joe, what do you call a skeleton? Why couldn't the skeleton cross the road?
Why couldn't the skeleton cross the road?
He didn't have any guts.
Oh, see, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's that easy.
Yeah, exactly. Being, like, creating your own wit instead of just making fun of somebody.
Yeah.
To get that. I totally get that, man.
I have a feeling like some people just make fun of the kids to get attention from the whole lobby, you know?
Yeah. And at the same time, to be on their good side.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the target, right?
No, I don't.
So we all make fun of this one child.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest thing to do. Wow.
Yeah. Because I know other kids that make fun of other kids. Like, I'm talking 12-year-olds against 12-year-olds. I'm like, you're on the same side here, bud. That's like fighting your own rebellion.
Yeah, you're right. So, I think we've covered this subject. Obviously, we haven't finished talking about it. This is an ongoing thing, right?
Yeah.
This is hopefully the start of a long discussion within the entire gaming community.
And I hope this video can get out and the community can help.
I certainly hope so too. So with that, Leith, do you have any last Last things you want to say?
I have some more advice.
Yes.
Don't never make fun of people, even what age they are, what they sound like, what they look like. People just don't be rude at all online. It can hurt people very much. Think before you speak.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
I think those are very wise pieces of advice, especially coming from someone of your age. You've shown a lot of maturity today in this conversation, and I'm very proud of you for coming in today. But we're going to sign off there, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this segment of the Ukatsu podcast featuring Laith, a.k.a. Mr. Chicken. This is not the last time you've heard from this kid. He is pretty talented. He's pretty outspoken. He's pretty funny, too. So be sure to like and subscribe to all of our content, as well as Mr. Chicken's, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Good job,
I think that was good.
I thought that was